Hello everybody, my name is Dale Foster with Entry Technologies of North Texas. I am going to do a video on the linear access space software and show y'all how to enter information as far as residents and any vendors or office personnel into your software. Everyone should have the same purple icon on your desktop with the linear access space. Go ahead and click on it. It's going to remind you to back up your system if you haven't done it. This is a new software here as far as the new data. There's really not anything in there for me to back up right now. So generally I'll just hit no, but I want to go over how you do back up your system. And I do suggest that you back it up quarterly, maybe every 2 months. The more information that you have in your system, and if your computer crashes and we lose it, it's about 3 or 4 days worth of work for us to get your system back up and going. And that's if you write down all the remote numbers that you assign to your residents. If you don't, we have to audit the property and see what number they have, and it is a nightmare. So I do suggest that you purchase a USB flash drive, plug that into the side of your computer, and this is after, a couple months that we first get your system up and going. But go ahead and click on yes. You're going to click on browse. You're going to come in here and find your USB flash drive that you have entered into the side of your computer. Select it, hit OK, and start your backup. Once you start your backup, it does its thing, then it brings you back into this field here. So we're going to go in and add our cardholder sets. The system comes with all access and no access already as cardholder sets. And you really don't want to use those. There's only certain scenarios or applications that we use these. You want to create 3 cardholder sets, and you create those by clicking on the 2 people with the yellow folder. Usually the first cardholder set is residents. The next one is going to be office. I'm just clicking on the 2 people with the plus sign here. And the next one is going to be vendors. So these are the 3 criteria that people are going to fall under when you add them into the system. Now this just helps you, file it better when you need to find somebody. They're not all under one group, which it can work all under one group. It's just doesn't work out when you need to get to some information fast. Generally, the first thing that we program is the office. This is so vendors or guests can call the office from the call box, and you can let them into the gate. Now, the very first time you'll see this, that you program somebody, you select what group you want them to go under. We want office to go underneath office, and you're going to click on the single person with the plus sign. Now, the very, very first time you do it, you're going to have to come down here and click on the green guy here to bring you to the data field. After you do it on each one of them, then you will I don't know why they do that, but you won't have to do that anymore. So we're going to put the office name in the last name field. We're going to put the office telephone number here in the home phone. I'm just making up numbers here, guys. And the directory code. This is the number that people press on the call box to call the office. And generally, if you just got one gate location number, you press 9 on your phone to open up the gate. If you've got a call box, you've got 2 entrances up front, then 9 will open one and 5 will open the other. So click on directory code, and you're going to click on assign, and then you're going to click on apply. Once again, this is the number that allows guests or vendors or whoever wants to call the office to get into the gate to let them inside the property. So once we're done with the office, we're going to go to residents, and we're ready to add a resident. So we're going to click on the single person with the plus sign, and once again, underneath the residents folder, if it's your very first time, you're going to have to click on the person here. And then we're going to fill in the information. Now, whatever you put in the first and last name field, that is what appears at the telephone entry outside. So either it's per preference on the property side, whether they want to put the first initial and the last name, maybe the full name and all the information, or just the apartment number. Probably 95% of the time I see just the apartment number, or maybe 60. It's a 60-40 deal. but I'm going to say I live in 1154. You don't need to do the street address and all that. Everybody has the same address there. This would be for a different application. So you can skip the street, city, and state and zip code. But you do want to go down and add their home phone or their cell phone number. Now, if their area code is different than the one that you're in, you're going to have to pretend like you're dialing a long distance number as you add the 1 before the area code. So if I have a resident, I'm going to do 2 different types. I'm going to say I'm local, so I'm going to do 940-735-2275 as the phone number. Then we'll go on transmitters. On the back of your transmitter, there's a 5-digit number on that card. You'll click on Add Individual Transmitter, and you're going to enter in this 5-digit number that's on the back of the transmitter into this area here. If it's a 4-digit number, just enter the 4-digit number and hit OK. Most of y'all have access control doors throughout your property. This remote here is what we call a dual credential. It has the buttons that work for the gates, and it has the card built inside that works for your access control doors. They both have the same number assigned to them. So you're going to click on Cards. You're going to add New Individual Card, 78787. So it's the same number for both of them. Entry codes. It's also another preference. If you want to give people codes to get into your property, I highly discourage you doing that. But once again, it's per preference. You can add in, it's a 4-digit code. So if you wanted them to have a code to enter into the call box to open the gate, this is where you would do it, and you'd hit Assign. Now they have a code. If you don't want them to have a code, don't put a code in there. Sorry. The next thing we're going to do is directory codes. Now we already assigned the Office 001. The software brings up the next numerical available number that you have for directory codes. So 002 is our next number available. We're going to hit Assign. So that means at the call box, you're going to hit 002 to call 1154. Once I'm done entering all the information underneath this field, underneath this person, I'm going to hit Apply. Let's move on to if you're only doing 1, then all you got to do is 1. But generally, y'all do 1 very rarely at the beginning do you do 1 at a time. So we're going to click on the single person with the plus sign to add our next one. Notice how it came up automatically for me. I don't have to click down here on the green person. So we're going to say this is apartment 2222. They don't have a 940. They have maybe a 512 number. So we're going to hit a long distance area code, not the same as ours. 1512 555 4444. So you've got to remember to add the 1 in front of their number. And you've got to make sure that the line that your call box has, you have the long distance enabled. Because if they have a long distance phone number and you don't have a long distance service enabled on the phone line that we have activated for your call box, then it's really up to y'all. You have to tell them, sorry, we can't, your long distance number, or they need to get a local area code number. So let's go ahead down here to transmitters. We're going to do the same thing with them. We want to add a new individual transmitter. They're going to be 7777. Okay. And then cards, we're going to assign new individual card, 7777. Okay. We don't want them to have an entry code, say for this one, but we want them to have a directory code. And here again, it brings up the next available number. All you got to do is hit Assign and then Apply. So once you're done entering all your information under the person's data, you're going to click on the up arrow to generate the data, and then you'll click on the yellow phone to call and connect to the system, and it'll send the information. And that's pretty basic on getting people's stuff to work. Now, to remove people's information, if they did not turn their remote in and they left the property, you're going to want to come in here and not delete everything, because you want to know that remote number is lost, and you want to try to keep up with what remotes you have that are working, what are lost, so that way you're not left with a bunch of remotes in your box, or you don't have enough memory to add anymore, because this software can only take so many remotes. It takes a lot. I've never reached the max amount, but I have seen a few properties that have. So if I say 1154, they moved out and they didn't bring the remote back to you, you'll I'm getting back into the software. Click on the two people deal folder. Just go find 1154. Here they are. We're going to click on transmitters, and we're going to label this one as lost. We'll click on cards, and we're going to label this as lost also. And y'all can do the same thing if you've got a residence that that you don't want to allow into the property that maybe needs to, kind of late on his rent, or I don't know if y'all could even do that or not, but you can come in here and suspend their remote too. That way it's temporarily not working, so you can get them to come to the office. But if the person, and then you're going to hit apply, of course, and then you've got to send your information. Every time you make a change, be it one change or after you make 10 changes, you've always got to send the information to the system. So there again, you're going to click the up arrow, and you're going to click the yellow phone to connect. Now that's after, say you're adding 10 people. After you add your 10th person, that's when you go and send your information, not after each individual one. It's per batch of information that you're changing, basically. So let's go back to 1154. We're going to say that, I'm going to uncheck the laws. We're just going to say that they moved out, okay? And they're no longer there. They had 78787 for their remote number. We're going to highlight the person and click on the single person with the red X. Are you sure you want to remove this card holder? And hit yes. So now you have freed up that remote number. And the next time you go to assign it to somebody, you have to do it a different way. Since the system already knows that you're using that number, we're going to click on the single person with the plus sign. We're going to add the apartment number. We're going to do the home phone number. And we're going to click on transmitters. This is where you're going to add it, assign it in a different place. So 78787 and hit assign. 78787 for the card and hit assign. And directory code, see, it's going to bring me back to that number 2. Since I took number 2 away from me earlier, it now knows that, hey, I've got the next number that's available in numerical order is number 2. It's going to hit assign for number 2. And then apply. So, other than that, that's how you add people into your system. Just by if you want to remove somebody, just highlight their name here, click on the single person with the red X, and that frees up their information. You just got to remember, the very first time that you add a new remote, we add it in the add new individual transmitter, and the same thing with the card. But all that's doing is enrolling that number into the software. The software wants to know what numbers you're using, so it keeps up with it. So the next time that you need to add that remote in, you have to do it underneath this area here, since it's already been added before. If you got any questions, you can email me at Dale, D-A-L-E, at entrytech.net. That's D-A-L-E at ENTRYTECH.net. Thank you.